Welcome to the Top Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Cummings, and I've got my guys with me, Lorenzo Barbieri, Quinn Carey, and Tajon Graham. This podcast is all about hoops. We're bringing you the real inside scoop on the Canada hoop circuit. Let's get into it. All right, fellas, how we doing today? How we doing?
Feeling good,
I'm
man.
good.
Feeling good.
I'm good, bro. I'm good,
Let's
man.
get it. Let's get it. All right, we're gonna start this podcast with a little introduction. We want to let our viewers know who we got in our presence. We got some real guys in our presence. All right, we're gonna start with Zoe, man. Zoe, introduce yourself. Give out a little bit of background. Then we're gonna move to Quinn, and then we got Tajon.
Cool,
Mm.
cool, cool. Well, my name is Lorenzo. Currently, I'm in my last year at the University of Windsor, playing the men's basketball team. Like I said, been here for 5 years. Vet over here, but yeah. Other than that, I've been playing basketball for 13 years, something like that. So it's been a long roller coaster. And like I'm excited to kind of get to know the high school hoops and the hoop circuit this summer, and really tap in.
Quinn, give me some info, man.
All right. My name's Quinn. I'm Windsor, home and grown. I'm in my third year at the university right now. I'm a point guard. As I said, I went to a local high school, Riverside Secondary School, played 4 years there. Didn't stay at fifth year, went straight to the University of Windsor. And while I was in high school, I played for the Junior Lancers. So really just Windsor all the way.
Good, I love it. Tajon, what's up, man?
What's up, man? My name is Tajon. Born and raised in Scarborough, Ontario. DC, you already know what it is. Scarborough, what's up?
Come
You
on,
already know
man.
what it is. What it is? A former student athlete. I was a forward at Nipissing University. That's where I played on the men's basketball team for 5 years. I was a four-time OUA award winner there. Now I'm at the University of Windsor pursuing my master's degree in sport management and leadership. And I'm the director of basketball operations now for the men's basketball team. So once was a student athlete, now it's transitioned to management.
I love that. I love that. As you can see, we got some guys here, man. So we're gonna spill some knowledge to you. We're gonna keep it real, and we're gonna get to the point, man. Straight to it. All right, so little icebreaker here, man. Real question. We're all music lovers here, so
Mm.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna answer my own question. That's a little crazy, but it is what it
A
is.
little crazy. It's a little crazy.
Hey. All right, so song of the week. All right. This is my song of the week. I've been spinning this track all day in the car, in the shower. I've been bumping it. And does anyone know who Hurricane Wisdom is?
Yes.
If you know who Hurricane Wisdom is, he got a track with Lil Shimmy called Salute. I've been bumping that, man. That's a banger right there. What y'all got, man? What y'all got?
The thing is, I was gonna choose one of his songs too, but for sakes of switching it up, I'll switch it up. I'm definitely gonna go with Viking by Saw Baby. I don't know if you guys, I assume you guys know. I don't know if Quinn knows, but you probably hear us play
No,
it in the
no.
locker room. But yeah, man, that
Bro.
song is gonna repeat everywhere I go.
I
Locker
love
room,
it.
gym, car, crib, shower, everywhere, man.
I love it. Tejon, what you got for me, dog?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. That new little baby joint, Dumb and Dumber,
Okay.
bro, best song off the album, bro. Everyone's heard Tweaker, bro. So I ain't gonna say the obvious with Tweaker, but you know, you know what I'm saying? I'm a swerve in the corner, whoa, whoa, like,
Whoa. Oh
Oh
man.
gosh.
QC, man, put me on something, man.
You guys know I'm on a different level than you guys. Come on.
Level's
Where
crazy.
you are by John Summit. It's a little different vibe from what you guys are saying, but
Okay, I love
I've
it.
been playing it. I've been playing
We
it.
we love diversity on this
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah,
man.
yes, we do.
gotta check it out, man. I gotta check it out.
All right. On a serious note, I'm gonna ask y'all, man. I know we all have different kind of backgrounds. I play Division One. I play youth sports. I kind of been around it. I know us. We played all played youth sports. I want to ask y'all for our viewers and like some of the high school kids that are watching the recruitment process. And as we all know, it's a real process. Like you have to kind of stick through it to kind of get to where you need to be. Um, So I want to ask y'all, we'll start with Zoe on this one. What was y'all's recruitment process like? Like, what were the struggles? What were some of the things that went well for you in that process?
Um, I guess I'll start off like right from the beginning. I guess like the one thing that everyone kind of tells you is get your name out there, go to camps, contact coaches, make connects, try to socialize or whatever the case may be from like a young age, like grade nine, I would say I kind of started that quote unquote. Um, but yeah, like other than that, I'll say my recruiting was pretty standard amongst like what most people hear. Um, I spent 2 years in Brampton at a BCSS, and then from there I went to a private school or a prep school in Georgia. And that's kind of where I started getting a little bit of notice. Few like Georgia Tech, UAB, few schools that just some of my coaches were connected to. So like that's how I kind of got those connections. But I left there shortly, went to Lincoln Prep in Hamilton for my last 2 years, and that's really where more of my recruitment kind of took off. Um, and really, it was just from coaches coming to watch our teams play. I was just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
Being at that prep school in the OSBA at the time, in my opinion, was the best league for preps in Canada. Um, and I was just kind of be able to get seen. I had lots of coaches come call me from my coach. I had coaches contact me on Instagram. And then besides that, I was, like I said, doing the standard things of just kind of saying hi to them, introducing myself. I was going to camps. I was going to the Norfolk Hoops camps. I was trying to go to camps in the States. I was just trying to get my name out there. Um, but other than that, I'll say like struggles was I I didn't really know how the OUA scene was. You know what I mean? Like I was looking at teams, but I didn't know which teams were like really good. I didn't know which teams were really bad. I didn't really understand like the impact that coaching made on this level. And so like when you're trying to decide between a team, yeah, you want to go somewhere you'll play. Yeah, you want to go somewhere you'll get opportunity. But like, man, fit's a big thing, right? And like that's probably like
huge.
my biggest it was my biggest struggle within my recruitment. I didn't really know how to decide that. So I'll say that was my biggest struggle. And then easiest thing was just playing basketball, man. The easiest thing was just playing
Yeah,
basketball, like just hooping and that kind of drew people to me. So I'll say that's kind of like how my recruitment went.
yeah, awesome. I think that's huge. You spoke about fit, right? I think nowhere you go is gonna be a perfect fit, right? But you gotta make sure you choose a school that fits you the best, right? And I think you found that in Windsor, like even me and you being teammates for a couple of years, I was teammates with Quinn as well. Like we saw the fit, we saw the growth, right? Even from the years I was there to now, like I'm not there anymore, but you're there, still doing your thing, captain now, like, leader. I think that shows that school was a good fit for you because you were able to grow into the position you're in now, right? It just wasn't handed to you. You kind of had to earn it, and you were given opportunities to earn it, right? So that I think that's important, right? Quentin, what about you, man? What was your recruitment process like, dog? Talk to me.
So mine was the complete opposite of those, honestly. I've only been recruited by one school and one coach. That was it. In high school, I played for the Junior Lancers, as I said, and it's like affiliated with the university, of course. So really how it started, probably grade 10, Coach Chang would just come to our practices, and then we would slowly build a relationship. You get the one conversation one day where he's like, "Yeah, I want you." And then, my last year is when COVID happened. So I had the choice between staying another year, going to prep school, trying to grind it out, trying to get stuff stateside and all that. Personally, just because I was so tied to Windsor, I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere else in Canada. So it was really just whether I was going to stay another fifth year, try to get that D1 offer and all that stuff. But like as I said, I Chang treated me right, took me out, took me golfing, all the restaurants, all the food. For me it was honestly easy. I knew one coach, all this stuff, not a big decision for me, and I just knew Windsor was the right fit for me, and I wanted to like grow Windsor in a way. That's a big dream for mine. Trying to make Windsor something. You know, the fact that I had the opportunity to do that was a no-brainer to me coming to Windsor.
Windsor bred, man. Windsor, Windsor, he's bleeding Windsor, man. I love it.
You know it.
I love it. I love it. Tejan, man. Tejan, talk to me. What was yours like?
Yeah, mine was an interesting one. So when I got to, because my 5 years of high school, so I started high school back in 2014, and that was really when the prep scene was really starting to blow up, right? Because Jamal Murray was at Orangeville Prep, yeah, Thon Maker, things like that. So a lot of people are going to prep, but for me, with my family, like, I was very prioritized on education. So I went to a first grade 9 and 10, I went to, a French school, then 11, so I went to IB. So I didn't do prep, so I wasn't really recruited. I wasn't on no one's radar. I didn't do the North Pole hoops. I didn't do any of that. And then when I graduated high school back in 2018, I was stuck. I had no offers, no interest. I thought I was just going to go to U of T for school. And then the week after I graduated, I met my coach who ended up coaching my CNIT team, which was STLA. And then he eventually got a job at a prep school and said, "Hey, like, we have this trial, go try out." It was literally my last chance. If I didn't make this team, I was going to U of T and my basketball career is going to end at 18. So I go to the tryout. It went okay. I got called back, and then it was a rainy day, and I was like, "Hey, like, I want to." They're saying, "Hey, listen, we want you on the team." So from that point on, I played the prep season, and then at the end of the season, unfortunately, I wasn't really a priority. There's a lot of like empty promises. Like coaches were making tapes for other people, and no one was making my tape. I really had to do it by myself. And then Coach Mike knew Coach Thomas Corey, who at the time was at Algoma. He reached out to him. He came out to a tryout, and we started building a connection. I want to say this was April 2019, so just a month after we finished. We lost at nationals to Crestwood. Crestwood ended up winning it. So that was really my only interest at the time. Built that relationship with Coach Corey. Then I would say back in July of 2019, Brandon also offered me, but because I felt comfortable with Coach, I already did a tour at Nipissing. He made my mom feel comfortable. That was the biggest thing because at the time I had never been away from home. I was 19. That was a deciding factor for me to go. So I didn't really have much of a recruitment process in terms of having been scouted and things like that. But I was literally, like Zoe said, it was right place, right time. Things just fell into place. And for me, it was going to a place where I could create my own legacy because my dad was always trying to say, "Oh, well, why don't you try to go to the Carlton, the Queens and things like that?" But it's like, you go to those places and yeah, there's championships, but there's so many names in the wall, right? I wanted to be able to go somewhere where I can figure out who Tajon is, create my own identity, and just find who I am. And that was something that was really big for me. And then Nipissing just happened to be that place, 3.5 hours away in the bushes. But it was a great experience. I did a lot of great things there. I don't regret it, and led me to here. So that was kind of my story.
I always say this, like sometimes you need to go away from home to figure out who home is or what home is. You know what I mean? And for you, like you had to go to North Bay to figure out yourself, right?
And it's not
And
like Scarborough.
ah, yo, it's crazy because like, was there like one subway in over there?
There's not even an Osmos in there, bro. I gotta go to Sunbury for one Osmos. The homeless day, bro. We didn't get a pop.
Yo,
We didn't get a Popeyes in North Bay until my fourth year, bro.
yo, Osmo sponsored a circuit too. We're hollering at you. Nah, shameless plug still, but nah, but yo, like honestly though, I think we should stay on this topic a little bit because I think we have kids in the circuit that are playing in the circuit that are aspiring to be college athletes, right? So I think starting this podcast, episode one, talking about recruitment, I think that's super important. And like little things like, for instance, for you, Tejan, I think your recruitment was a little bit more self-made. You know what I mean? Like you had to kind of do a little bit more legwork than let's say a Zoe or a Quinn. You know what I mean? So this question is more directed towards you. Like you said you
Mhm.
reached out to coaches. How did that look? Like how did you reach out to coaches? How did you address them? What did you send them? What was, like what was in that email or package that you were reaching out to coaches and sending to coaches?
Yeah, so the process for me started back in 2017, which is my first grade 12 years. So I remember Christmas time, going into I guess what originally was supposed to be my last year of high school. I got connected with this program called NCSA, which is a database that has all of the Division One, JUCO, NAIA schools, things like that. So I was able to get in contact with them. I was able to create a profile, and I was able to get connected to all these coaches. So I remember Christmas time, I probably sent out over 200 emails on Christmas.
Mm.
in that email, to answer your question, I think the most important thing that people need to understand is that when you're sending an email, it has to be professional, right? Like I know you're 16, 17 years old, but you still have to have some type of professionalism in the email. You can't be saying, "Hey, coach," or stuff like this. Like it was stuff like "Good morning, good afternoon, I hope all is well." Like your language is important because within those first two lines, they can tell if you're serious or not. If if your grammar is incorrect, if you're not have the right citation, if you don't have the right, if you don't come correct, no one's going to care to read your email. So it was really about that. It was selling myself and saying what my height was, what my weight was, what position I play, and also proving to that I did my homework, saying, "Hey, I know about your program. You guys did this last season. You guys have these amount of people leaving. I think I could be a good fit because of X, Y, and Z." So not really sending a generic email because that's something that a lot of people make a mistake of. They have like this one template and then they just replace the name. But you can't do that,
Mm.
right? You have to personalize it because once you personalize it, it lets the coach know that you're serious and you intend on actually wanting to be here just rather than just sending an email. So that's really what it was like for me.
It's awesome. And I think one key point that you mentioned was personalization. Like, it's so crazy how many people would probably forget that point. And I'm not a university coach, right? So I don't know, but I've worked closely with a few university coaches, and they've mentioned to me like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this kid is just talking to me like I'm his broski on, at school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, if a coach, sees that, he's probably just not even gonna open your email, one. And
very
then
interesting.
two, like, he's just like, he's gonna look at your email and be like, this kid is probably not gonna be good for my program. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, like
Um,
even to add on what you said, like people don't realize like, and this is something I had to learn too when I first got to university. Like, youth sports is a business, right? So remember, these coaches get paid, right, to win games, right? Some
mm,
coaches have kids, right? Obviously, like Dylan Quinn, no, for example, Coach Chang has three kids and he talks about it all the time. Like the way I was presented in my first year, I learned quickly, like if you can't help a coach win basketball games, which will ultimately keep his job, he'll find someone else to do it. So in
yep.
essence, when you're sending an email, you're basically saying, why, how can you help me win games? Why should I pick you to help me win basketball games and keep my job? You know what I'm saying? But at the time, you don't think like that. But, being 5 years later, I learned quick, but I guess since we're doing this podcast, it's important for people to realize that youth sports is a business and you have to treat it as such in a sense because you're selling yourself.
And it's not just U Sports. It's OCAA,
JUCO,
whatever college program, JUCO, NCAA, even more so at the NCAA level. Like, I
Mhm.
could speak to this a little bit. Like, they'll get rid of you quick. And, like like the NCAA, like they really want you. And the fact you're Canadian, if they recruit you, you already have 10 times more the expectation than the American kid, right? Because
Sounding good
one,
enough.
they're paying more for you to go there because they
hmm
got to pay international fees. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bigger process for you to get there than for them to walk down the street and recruit this kid that goes to the local high school. You know what I mean? So
right.
the expectations are a little bit higher. Um, but yeah, like I think this is a good conversation to have, just to let kids know that your first impression means everything. And I think too, like we have so many outlets to write a professional email. And
ChatGPT, got everything in the
Uh,
book, man.
come on, man, like there's honestly no excuse for real. It just
Mhm.
shows the level of care that you have. I think if you really care about something, you're gonna show it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's super important. I have this question here, and I think this is another great question that we need to ask and answer for our viewers. Um, and this goes for any recruit, anybody that is trying to get to somewhere. And this is not just basketball, this is just life in general. What advice would you give high school athletes on how to approach their recruitment process? So I know we spoke about the recruitment process itself, how to reach out to a coach, but how do you think they should approach it in terms of, okay, this is me, my name is Daniel, I'm being recruited by this school, that school. How do I decipher whether this school is good for me, this school is bad for me? this coach is interested, this coach is hot and cold with me, this coach is not really too interested, this coach is extremely interested. How do we decipher that?
A good question, I'll start. Why not? I'll say the main thing is, as weird as it may sound, don't think about it.
Mm,
Like anything in life that you do, like the more you think about it, the more you try to really decipher what's going on, and like you're just gonna stress yourself out. Decisions are gonna be left, right, up, down, all around. Like you won't know what to do. Like your head will just be spinning.
yeah,
So that's the first thing I'll say when it comes to like how to approach your recruitment. Obviously care, but like don't make it your entirety, right? Um, Second thing I'll say is when you're talking with coaches, I look at it like, yes, I'm a basketball player, but I'm also a human being. I'm also a young man that's going to grow into a grown man when I finish university or whatever the case may be. So like I'm looking at a coach that cares more about me as a person and how I'll grow as a human being rather
mhm,
than just saying, yeah, if you come to my school, like you'll get the opportunity to play basketball. I'll make you a great basketball player. Your shooting skills will get better. Your decision making skills, like, and if they don't mention anything about, yeah, like I make sure you pass your classes. I make sure you understand what it means to be a man. I make sure you understand how to, if you need to do your laundry and you don't know how to do it, you can come to me and ask. Stuff like that. I think that's kind of like how I personally like deciphered which coach to go to or which coaches to decide between, perhaps. And ultimately, that kind of what led me to Coach Chang in Windsor. He was very big on. Um, he said he would come into classes randomly and check on you and make sure you're there. He has a rule that you have to be in the first three rows of your class, right? Whether or not you did that or not, it was something that he expressed to you, right? He told you, I care about you as a person. Like, how's your family doing? How are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, basketball was obviously the main topic and the main concern of why I'm going here or why I came here, but it was also, he spoke to me as if I'm a young man, right? And he spoke as if he wanted to be a mentor and help me, which he has. So I'll say like that is probably the second, if not the most important thing when it comes to like how to approach your recruitment. And then obviously like if you have the opportunity, DM some of the players on the team, say, hey, I know your coach recruiting me. I don't know if he's mentioned me or whatever, but like, how do you feel about him? How do you feel about the coach? How do you feel about the school? You know what I mean? Like everything. Those three things will honestly help you make your decision. And it's kind of what helped me make my decision, how I approached the game. So,
I love that. I think one thing that stuck out to me was you mentioning not thinking about it. Like, yeah, just don't overthink it. Just
yep,
control what you can control, right? Which is
100%. Yeah.
yourself. And I think to build on that point, like, yo, what you high school kids need to work on is yourself more than anything. I think coaches recruit the person more than the basketball player. And I think we've all had teammates that, weren't the best teammates, weren't the best people, right? And it correlates on the court. And for someone who's, like Tejan mentioned, this is someone's livelihood, right? So coaches want players that are not going to have them worry when they're at home with their family and their kids, right? I know I had a coach when I was at TSU, Coach Ford. He would always say like, "Yo, when I'm at home with my kids, I do not want to hear any calls or have any calls about my players doing this or my players doing that. Because if that's the case, like you're just gonna be on the first flight back to wherever you're from."
Mhm.
And he meant it. Like he was real on that, right? So I think as someone who's aiming to be recruited or wants to go somewhere with sports or just in life in general, the first thing you got to work on is the person in the mirror. And I think that's of utmost importance, more than whether you could shoot a shot, dribble between your legs, or do a windmill dunk. Nobody cares about that at the end of the day, right? So I think just making sure you're the best person you could be, it would help the athletics part, right? It would help the recruitment part because if a coach could talk to you and have a conversation with you and understand you as a human being and know that you're a person of quality, that's only going to help their program. And it's only going to help them at the end of the day. Um, so yeah, I think that's ultra important. What about you, Tejan? You have any comments, any ideas on it?
Yeah, I think the one thing too is that I think being able to go to a school where you have an opportunity to play. The reason, and and saying that I mean like be real with yourself, right? I think a lot of times we like to tell each other, these false realities, or we look in the mirror and think, oh, we're better than what we are. And a lot of times too, you go on Instagram, you see memes of people saying, yo, the coach is this, the coach not playing me, things like that. The problem is that a lot of times people have higher expectations than where they're really at. Like for example, if you know you're not say a 25 more game scorer, if you say you're not the best player, are you really going to try to reach out to the top schools like Carleton and Queens if you know you don't have a real chance to play? Like let's just be honest. Like
Yeah.
you gotta be honest with yourself. Or a lot of times where people who are really say OCAA level players are trying to reach out to like high level, whether it's D1s or, U sports schools, like you got to be real with yourself. But in saying that, like going to a place where you either have an opportunity to play right away or you eventually have a chance to play. Like for me, the biggest thing for me was going to a school like Nibison. I was able to play right away. And I was able to, grow and put like my second game ever I started. Like I was able to have a chance to play. Where some people I know like would cut after like every year I was at Nibison, someone cut at Christmas break every single year. Like it happens every year. Like it's because people don't play or they thought they were getting something, but they didn't get something. Like it happened every single year. So you have to go to a
Hmm.
place where you have an opportunity to play. And even if you have to redshirt a year, you have a chance to develop into what you can become. But don't go to a place where just because of the namesake or because they're champions, stuff like that, you want to be a part of that. And then you get there and you're miserable because you're not playing. Like be real with yourself is the biggest thing.
So, Quinn, you have any comments?
Yeah, I'll kind of combine what Zoe and Tejan said. I think as a player, you kind of gotta choose what you want, like what you're going to university for or college, whatever it is. Because like Zoe said, one thing big for him was like growing as a person and, like just more than basketball. I know some guys, like their goal is to go to a school to get out of that school, go to the
Yeah.
next level. So as a leader on the team this year, I'm very fortunate to get like all these recruits that come in. And right away, my first question is like, where are you looking at school? Because right off the bat, obviously I'm trying to get all the recruits that I can, whatever they tell me, I try to feed to that, like one big part of Windsor that I'm happy to say is like our culture, you know? So like as a player, I think it's very big to like kind of Zoe said, you get into the team, into the players, into the culture. Cause like, they'll show you a good tour. The game atmosphere will be fun. They'll pay for your meals and all that. But like deep down is like the team culture and the team chemistry. Like that's where as a recruit, you'll actually see what type of program that university has. So I think
I
just
agree.
combining the two of knowing what you want and truly seeing what the university is and what they can give you, like I think that makes it more clear when you're making a decision.
I agree. Um, we'll end on that note. Honestly, thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Thank you to our guests that we have, Quinn, Lorenzo, and Tejan. Um, but yeah, that's all we have for episode 1. Thank you for joining. Tune in again for episode 2. Thank you.
Later.
Yeah.